Okay, so it's been a while. It's probably been a month or maybe a little over a month since I put up a video. I'm I have a hard time keeping in touch, even with just little videos on YouTube. As silly as that sounds, but if you're new here and this is the first time you've seen this, I had started making videos and I called them Homeless in Hudson. And I guess nobody else really thought that was as funny as I thought it is. But I really got to thinking, and it dawned on me, I'm not homeless. So I'm announcing a name change for this playlist. My home is in heaven. So I'm never homeless no matter where I am, even if it's living in my car. I'm just passing through this world. Um, and it's not as all, I don't know, fantastical as it sounds. It's the truth. It's what we're taught. It's what Jesus told us. And I believe him. And I am absolutely content where I am. And I know it's crazy. And again, for those who don't know what's going on, in less than a year, my husband died and I lost our home. And I've been living in my car with 2 dogs since September 2nd of this year. And it's weird because as God grows confidence and assurance in you, in us, and as we learn to trust him more, on one hand, I can say it's not so bad. On the other hand, yeah, it was horrible losing my home, horrible watching my husband die because doctors poisoned him. All that stuff was horrible. But at the same time, I can't say I lost my husband because I know where he is. He's with the Lord. And I know I'll see him again someday. And, God willing, not too soon. No offense, honey. But I'm absolutely and fully assured that I am exactly where God wants me. And that might sound crazy considering my circumstances, but I don't know how else to put it. I've struggled for days trying to put to words what this experience has been like. That's one of the reasons why I, haven't put up any videos for a little over a month. In fact, I think the last one was when I was over there at the park in Stowe, next to the police station, and I videotaped Mia enjoying rolling around the grass and stuff, and I just talked about, how beautiful it is there and what a blessing it is, and how we're so blessed. And even considering my circumstances, I still feel wholeheartedly assured and blessed. I'm sorry I'm stuttering, but I'm a little distracted. When it's cold, you see your breath and it's like, what's that? But anyway, but I am. We're blessed beyond our wildest imagination, but I think so much of us are so busy in life that we miss it. And I was really never one to be a busybody, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way. I mean it to say I didn't fill my every moment with something I had to do. It was, if we go back to the story of Mary and Martha, Martha is she's all the busybody doing everything, and she's doing wonderful serving, and she's serving the Lord and his disciples. That's an awesome thing. It's not that she was doing anything bad or wrong. It just wasn't what she ought to have been doing at that time. And she's complaining about Mary, tell my sister to get up and, help. And Jesus's response was, Mary's doing exactly what she ought to do. And all she was doing was sitting at Jesus's feet, soaking in every word and every single moment. That would be awesome, to be literally at his feet. But, we have the word, and, that's as close as we can get right now. And we can enjoy the blessings even in the seemingly littlest things, Like, for instance, Miss Mia, I don't know, again, for the new people, I have two dogs. I have a 13-and-a-half-year-old American Pit Bull, and she's not been doing well. That's another thing that's, kind of distracted me from writing and doing videos, because she finally just the other day was able to hold down some solid food, and now, a few days later, I don't know. Anyway, she's not doing well. And I am just enjoying every single moment that I have with her. I mean, God blessed me with this beautiful creature who has been just an awesome companion for 13-and-a-half-years. I got her Labor Day in 2012. And she's just been awesome. And if you hear some munching behind me, that's Hanani. She's chewing on a beef bone. And she'll be 9 at the end of the month. She's a Dutch Shepherd. And she's in a crate because her and Mia don't get along. So that means more frequent walks because, she's a high-energy dog and stuff. But all that to say, I mean, I just got done walking Hanani. And, the enemy comes and attacks and steals things like our home and whatnot. And he thinks he's really doing us wrong. And I guess, I could have taken it and gotten all upset and depressed and just, I gotta go do something with my dogs. But actually, I was put in a position to where I have to do more and more frequently one of the things I love most, and that's working with my dogs and playing with them and just helping them grow and just teaching, training a dog is just one of the most rewarding things in my opinion. And Hanani is doing so much better. For a month and a half now, she hasn't had to have her muzzle on in public. I mean, I don't get too close to other people, and she's doing well, not, trying to lunge and stuff. In fact, there was when I was walking, there's this one place I like to park that's up in Hudson, and there's an access road to a power station back there. And this guy, I was walking the road back up, and it's this little gravel road, and this guy comes and he's got his window rolled down, and he slows down beside me, and Hanani jumped at the car, and before I even said anything, she just bounced off the car, growled at him, and came right back to my side, as she should have. And just letting him know, hey dude, back off. But she came right back to me and sat between me and his car and just stared at him. And with the, growling every once in a while. And whereas, gosh, even 6 months ago, she'd have gone through the window and bit the dude's face. I know she would have. So being put in a position where I'm forced to, not forced like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this, but just I have to walk her more often. She's getting more interaction, and she has calmed down a lot. I mean, it's still stressful for her being in the car, most of the time, but it's, God takes what the enemy intends for evil and turns it for his good. And I've got it. She's growing into a really good, solid dog. And that's what I mean by the blessings that we have that we miss so often. I know people that have dogs, and I know they mean well, and but I'm so busy here, I'm so busy. And the dog, even though that dog has a nice home and is running around all the time, playing with its toys and stuff, most of the time it's, you could have a house full of people and it's all by itself. Other than every once in a while, pat on the head, give it some food or whatever. And instead of, enjoying that blessing. And talk about stress relief, just petting a dog a lot of times helps relieve some stress, and just praising God for them. Or even just the, the little moments with, your kids, or, I love watching when my kids were little, and even other people's kids, but when my kids were little, I loved just watching them, do something, or like they're reading something or discovering something new or even drawing something, but you could just almost hear those wheels turning and those little God-given beautiful minds that they're just growing and learning. And it's what a sight to behold. What a blessing it is for us if we just stop and pay attention for even just a moment. And so, like with my husband, we had only 2016, 8 years, but we had 8 years. And I've always been the kind of person ever since I can remember. Make the most of every opportunity was never a cliche for me. And I'm not talking about, doing something to try to make it, just being in that moment and praising God for that moment. And that's how, Jamie, not so much. He kind of started, learning that and paying attention last year or two, but I don't have any regrets that, something should have been done different, or I wish I had this time to go change whatever. I praise God for every moment we had, even if it was just for a short season. And all that to say, I'm sorry, I'm going off on tangents again, but I'm hoping this blesses somebody. That's my biggest intent first and foremost. But I've been struggling to come on here and talk about where I am, where I believe I'm going, and the fact that I need help. And all the savings that we had were spent trying to help Jamie and also trying to maintain the bills and keep that house, which in retrospect, I think I kind of knew that the owners were gonna, pardon expression, screw us. So there was, 5 months of payments that I could have, kept stashed away and had that in. And I'm not saying, it's just hindsight, but learn from my mistakes kind of thing. That's why I look back like that. But the point being that it's been at least 3 decades that I've been in a position where I'm just literally day to day. The work that I was doing from home on my computer, and there's no way to fit that computer in this tiny car. And so and there's no way to do the work on my phone. So I've been doing odd jobs for my neighbors. I've been babysitting for this lovely lady that I've been getting to know and helping her grow. And she's just so excited. I love it that when she comes to church, because she's just sitting there, soaking in every word in the sermon, and she gets up and she worships with us, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. What a blessing when she had her 2 of her children in there with us, and the little girls stand, there are fewer things more beautiful and more precious than listening to and watching a child praise the Lord. And this beautiful little girl that's been through a lot and not even too sure where she is or why she is where she is, but she's singing along with us. And it's tomorrow morning. This is Saturday, November 22nd, 2025. Tomorrow morning, I encourage you all to go to church and just stand there. First, just close your eyes and listen to the worship. And then open your eyes and kind of look around, and whether it's a child or somebody new or whatever, and just take it in. It's just a beautiful thing, and it's a good way to recharge your battery if you need a recharge, or top you off, or however you want to put it. I keep going on tangents again. I'm trying to watch the time, so if you see me keep looking, there's like a little clock that only I can see up in the corner here. I'm trying to not take too much of your time, and I'm trying to bless you while I'm here. But I also, and this, you can call it a fundraiser or whatever. Where I am presently, like I said, I am fully assured that, whether you want to say God allowed it or whatever, but I believe I am exactly where God wants me. And as crazy as that might sound to a lot of people, and I say that over and over again, because when I'm talking to people and face to face and I see the look on their face when they see how excited I am about where I am, it's no words can describe the looks on their faces. And I kind of, I mean, I'm not making fun of them, but it's kind of funny. But so I can't imagine what you all are thinking. But there is, oh, you know what? There is a bus that I found on Craigslist. And when I say bus, I mean, it's a F450 diesel transit bus. So it's a bus, but it's smaller, more manageable for my size person. And the man that is selling it had turned it. It looks like a man cave on wheels, so it definitely needs some feminine touches in there. And there's some other renovations that I would make to it, but it is absolutely adorable. And I don't know what the lens adjust. I don't know how to do all that fancy stuff on my phone, but if you guys can see that, that's what I'm looking at buying. It's only $4,000. It's not going to need a lot of renovation, but like I want to make it so I can put both crates and kind of scooch them under the bed and make good use of the space that's there. I think the area inside is like 7.5 by 15 or something. But excuse me, I don't have $4,000. In fact, and I talked to my insurance company. The insurance is not going to be much at all, and for the entire year, and I could pay that in advance. But with the title transfer, getting the tags, and paying the insurance up front, plus buying the thing, that's about roughly $4,500, and then a little extra, hopefully, to do what is needed to it to make it more than a man cave with a rubber floor, because it's got this like rubber mat on the floor. And I'm just, hoping to encourage anybody that would like to donate, and I'm not good asking these kind of things. I would much appreciate it, because the work that I'm doing, there's two people in particular. Like I said, I'm babysitting for the one woman, and she's generous, but she doesn't have a lot to give. And then her father, I've been helping him at his house, and again, he's generous, but he doesn't have a lot to give either. And everything, because we expended our savings over last year, everything I get has an immediate place to go, because feeding my dogs and putting gas in my car, because excuse me, I tried other options with heating problems here in the car, but the only logical option was to just run the car periodically, so that runs down the gas. So most of what my income goes to feeding dogs and putting gas in this car, which that transit bus is a diesel engine, and they were designed to idle, pretty much all day. So my plan is to gather as much funds as possible from generous individuals and as many people as possible, because it's something that should, be a collective effort, not, kind of like in the book of Acts, how everybody came together and their testimony was that no one went without. In fact, it's something that I've been talking about for, 30 years. that, God designed social work and gave it as responsibility for the church. Stephen was appointed, one of the guys appointed to one of the local churches to care for the congregation and the community. God provides so that we take care of our own and then take care of the community, as it should be. And not, he didn't give that responsibility to the government. That's ludicrous. In fact, in the Old Testament, the farmers were, it was in their laws that they kept the corners of their fields. They wouldn't harvest those, that they would leave them for the poor to go in there and glean the grain, or gather the grain. And so instead of just, handouts, they had to get up and go do something to get what they needed, and which that helps build character in a person, rather than just, government nanny state BS. But anyway, gosh, what was my point? So my plan is to hopefully draw as many people together as possible to help me buy this this bus. And in addition to that, I am so excited to sell at least 3/4 of what's in my storage unit. I have a storage unit the size of a garage, packed full of stuff that God only knows when I'm going to need it or be able to use it again. And I'm not looking for a house. I don't want to rent an apartment. I want to move forward in where God has me right now. And I don't know if this season is for a few weeks more, a few months more, maybe a few years. I don't know. All I know is I'm very grateful for the assurance that God has given me. And I know that, to move forward, I need a little bit more room and a lot more heat. And so I want to sell off everything. I'm paying $150 a month for stuff that I don't know when I'll be able to use again. And honestly, I don't really want. I just want to be free of all the stuff of life. And not that any of the stuff is wrong or any of the stuff is bad. Nobody has to feel bad about having a home full of, treasured objects. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just not there anymore. When I had my home, every place I've lived, I've loved taking care of it. I mean, it's just something that is just, I grow and I thrive when I'm taking care of my home and taking care of my family. And I love gardening and just even just the remodeling different rooms and just all of that stuff. But I'm not in that season anymore. I'm in this season. And I'm going to put my Cash App handle down below this video, and also a couple links, like one to my website, a pup stop, because there's products on there you can buy. And I'm going to go ahead and throw out, for people who are local to the Stowe, Cuyahoga Falls, Akron area in Ohio, and want to, if they see anything that they would like to buy from my storage unit, you can contact me on there. And I just want to sell everything and get that bus. And on that bus, I could hook up my computer so I can get back to some regular work and grow from there. And I'm going to be working on my second book too. And that's my plan. And I also, especially for anybody who does donate or buys something to help with the bus fund, I promise I'm going to be more regular on updating and keeping these videos going out. Put in the comments if you'd like to, different things that any questions you have, or any topics that you might want me to, talk about. We can kind of get a dialogue going. I'm not really good at doing the live stuff. You can tell I'm not good at doing this stuff either, but I'm not going to go there with the live videos yet. But I would like some engagement and interaction with you people, and to, kind of get to know you, whatever, and maybe learn from each other. That would be fabulous. But again, if you'd like, share, subscribe, that would be phenomenal for me. And it would be very encouraging to see, you know, more than 2 subscribers, or, you know, some comments down below, and just keep it clean and keep it nice. If you got something nice to say, then keep scrolling, right? And like I said, any questions, feel free. I'm a very open, bold, honest person, and I really got nothing, absolutely nothing to hide. What am I going to say? Gosh, I was able to keep this under a half hour. I think that's about it, and I will keep you all updated on getting the bus, and I'll let you all see, you know, what it's like, the before, during, and after, and the renovations, and just what it's like being where I am. I've noticed there's a growing community. I guess I think they call it like van life or something like that, and they're putting up a lot of YouTube videos too, but I don't mean, this does not come out of any kind of pomp or arrogance, but I think my situation is a little unique. But anyhow, we'll get into all that in the next video. Just thank you so much, and God bless you, whether you donate or not, or whether you buy something or not. And just have a wonderfully blessed night and a beautiful Sunday. Thanks.